Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Manarino, back for my post-market wrap-up for today, Wednesday, December 6, 2017. Alright, where to start? Alright, how about here? Stocks were under pressure today, nothing overwhelming. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down, I think, about 30 points. S&P also in the negative, but tech did eke out a small gain. Alright. But we know, you and I know, that's not where we need to be looking. The real action today, by leaps and bounds, was in the bond market. It was epic. Absolutely epic. Right from the get-go. And a lot of you wrote to me when you had a look at that chart on my website, traderschoice.net, and you couldn't believe what you were seeing. Well, I think this is something we're going to have to start getting used to. It's frankly out of control. Out of control. The rigging here that is occurring, I mean, it's right in our face with regard to the bond market is simply beyond belief. I don't know another way to put this. Now, a lot of people have been writing to me, hey Greg, why are they rigging the bond market? Why aren't they targeting the stock market? Here's the issue. Yeah, I think they're targeting both, I'll be honest with you, but the bond market is the biggest market of them all. I've covered this many times. Every single asset derives value from what is occurring in the bond market. So what did they do here today? They're propping up the bond market. They will not allow it to sell off, and that subsequently is propping up the stock market. Sometimes I forget that we're living in some type of land of make-believe. It's not real. And I get distracted from that. And my brain starts to revert to the times where we had a real market, which we do not have anymore. So what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? In fact, I wrote an article today on Steemit about this. The rigging of the bond market is going to continue, in my opinion, and I think it's going to get even worse. I explained to you yesterday in my post-market wrap-up that I believed you were going to see cash move into the bond market. Well, to say the least, that's exactly what happened today, and I think more is coming. More cash to keep the markets stable. Now, I want you to think about this. And it doesn't matter if we're in a risk-on trade or a risk-off trade. Some entity out here, and you know who it is buying bonds. Doesn't matter. If it's risk-on, they're buying bonds. If it's risk-off, they're still buying bonds. And we're seeing a similar charade being played on the precious metals. If the dollar is up, gold and silver are down. If the dollar is down, gold and silver are down. And I know you understand that gold and silver are priced in dollars. So it makes nothing makes sense. It's fake. It is so fake. We have to laugh about it. Look, laugh about it, yes. And use this to our advantage. And I've covered this entire week so far, and I want to talk about that right now, how I have been taking advantage of this. As a matter of fact, for weeks I've been explaining this to you. I told all of you how I was riding the S&P 500, ticker SPY. I rode that for a long time. I bought that on the 17th of November. Up until last Friday, I closed it with a frankly hundreds of % profit. I'm very happy about that. But I'm very nervous here, I'm not going to lie, to get into an index. So what I've been doing, and although I told all of you you really shouldn't do this unless you know what you're doing, and I mean really, is picking individual stocks. But that's what I have done. I explained to you how I bought puts against BMY. I traded that in one day with an 11% profit. I explained to you that I bought puts on Verizon. I closed that today with a almost 16% profit. And today what I did, and I posted this on my social networks for those of you that keep saying, hey Greg, what you should tell us when you're getting into a trade. Well, you don't have to get in exactly when I get in. if you want to follow that kind of thing, personally, I think you should avoid it unless you really know what you're doing with regard to picking stocks and knowing exactly when to get in and out. Much simpler to trade an index, much simpler. But I bought calls today on Facebook. Go check my Steemit page. I put up an article there, and I said I bought calls here. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. I am not convinced by a long shot that they are done rigging everything. They're going to continue to do it. What does that mean? Are stocks bottoming out? I really don't know. It's very difficult right now. Last night I was very nervous, and I am not going to. I actually called Greg Hunter last night, and I said, Greg, I really do not like what I'm seeing here with regard to deleveraging in the overseas markets, and our markets are looking really ugly. But then, of course, what happened? We woke up, and what did they do? I mean, you talk about bomb buying. You saw it on the chart on my website. Humongous spike higher. And that went on pretty much throughout the day. Go have a look at it. It's still there. And like I said, I believe we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of this. And it's incredible. It doesn't matter what kind of environment we're in. That's the mind-blowing part of it. Whether it's risk on or risk off, some entity out here, it's the Federal Reserve, is buying bonds to keep the market stable. And the same kind of phenomenon with the dollar and metals is occurring. Doesn't matter. Dollar up, metals are down. Dollar down, metals are down. So you can see the rigging. It's so right here. It's so right in our face. But that's it. That's our strength. I really believe that, understanding where we are. And last night, I kind of lost track. I kind of thought, hey, maybe we were in a real market. I should have known. I should have known that we were going to see the action that we saw today. However, I felt like it was important for me to get out what I had on my mind in case this got worse. Now, I'm not saying we're out of the woods here, people. I am not saying that by a long shot. Because there's going to be a moment, you know that, where this rigging doesn't work. But I believe they're going to continue to try to prop this up through any means possible, and things we can't even dream about until this tax thing goes through, probably through the end of the month, but I really don't know. For right now, we understand what they're going to do before they're doing it, and that is prop up this bond market, because everything prices off of what's happening here in the debt market, of course, except for gold and silver, which are completely rigged. Beyond anything we could ever have imagined in world history. Believe me, people, it's going to go down in history. Worse than the Bernie Madoff Ponzi. Way worse, by exponents. That's the truth. Anyway, that's it. Let's see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Keep your eye on that bond market. And when you, again, go to my website and you can watch it, laugh when you see more cash moving in there, when they're propping it up and the stock market is trying to move higher. They won't allow it to drop. It's very odd and strange to be living in the times we are, where we do not have a free market. It's been stolen away by runaway central banks, colluding with Wall Street banks, other world banks. These world central banks, people, believe me, they are public enemy number one. And the sad part is, when this does correct to fair value, because there's not going to be a crash, ever. It's just a correction to fair value. Understand, nobody is going to be held accountable. But you and me, we're going to get stuck with the bill. I guarantee you that. Just like last time. No difference. See you in the morning. Over and out.